Auzubillahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning to you all. May I now call on Honorable Sila to lead us in Muslim prayers and Honorable Joyner to lead us in Christian prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Auzubillahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawmun lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ardi. Man dhal ladzi yashfa'u 'indahu illa bi'iznihi ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum wa la yuhituna bi shay'in min 'ilmihi إلا بما شاء وسع كرسي السماوات والأرض ولا يعود حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Faithful and everlasting God, we come before your throne today with grateful hearts. You have done so much for us. We can't say it all. Indeed, you are God from the beginning to the end, and there is no place for argument. Continue to have your way in our lives. Ancient of days, cover us with the blood of Christ and direct your paths as we journey on. Lead us, Heavenly Father, and may your grace and mercy speak for us today and forevermore. Amen.
Minister, can you please call the witness?
Good morning, Mr. Witness. You may kindly sit down. Welcome back, Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry.
Thank you.
But before we proceed, I want to remind you that you are still under oath.
Okay.
Madam Chair, over to you.
Good morning, Mr. Suso.
Good morning, ma.
Yeah, you are welcome back.
Thank you.
Council, can you please proceed?
Thank you. Morning, Commissioners. Morning, Mr. Suso.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yesterday, before we finished for the day, you were taking us through the IFMES system.
Yeah.
And you were taking us through the process after the revenue collectors came with the receipts, and we got to the point where your staff would input the data into the system.
Yes.
Now, how often did you produce reports for the management from the system?
Oh, okay. Basically, it's based on requests. We say it's requests from you to provide the reports. But along the line, by going by our policies, our regulations, finance directors should prepare reports on quarterly basis. But if there is a need from the management, at any moment, the reports should be prepared and submitted.
So did you prepare the quarterly reports for management?
Within the period 2021, I did not prepare a quarterly report.
And did you prepare quarterly reports for 2022?
2022, no.
2023?
Before 2023, around September, I prepared a report for the period 2021 and 2022.
So that's in September 2022.
Yeah.
And what was contained in these reports?
The income and expenditure statement, the ledger accounts, the balance sheet.
So did you prepare the budget for 2022?
Yes, we do.
Were you involved in the preparation of the budget
Yes.
for 2022?
Yes.
So how did you prepare the budget without the income and expenditure report?
For which year?
2022.
2022. No, the 2022 budget was prepared at the end of 2021.
Yes.
Yes.
So you said you didn't prepare income and expenditure reports. So what did you use to prepare the budget for 2022?
Within that period, we were struggling with the system, but we decided to use the 2019-2020 baselines to come with projections for 2022-2021.
Now, you, as finance manager in Brikama Area Council, did you assist in preparing the budgets?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what system did you use? What reports did you use to prepare the budgets for the upcoming years?
Normally, it is based on the revenues that has been collected within the period. Normally, we prepare the budget in September. So the first and the second quarter, we look at the revenue expenditures and the revenue lines. From there, we do projections for the following year, since budget is an estimate.
So the revenue lines, you do an estimate based on what you have in the tariffs, based on what you have in whatever schedules that you have, so you know what income you're likely to generate every year.
Yeah.
Right? Expenditure, you have a system, right?
Yes.
That allows you to know how much you spent in a year.
Yeah, within that period.
Within that period. So in Brikama Area Council, you weren't using the IFMIS system, were you?
Well, no, we are not using the IFMIS system because the system was rolled out to the councils at the same time between February and March.
Yes.
So by then I moved to Basse.
Right. So the system was rolled out in February or March, and you said that there were issues with the system. What were these issues?
Yes, within the period, the ledger accounts where that was an issue. The revenue lines we can able to.
No. So when you say that was an issue, explain what the issue was.
Okay. Basically, if you input revenue into the system, you should be able to access your ledger accounts. That ledger accounts will show you the lines, how much is spent and how much comes into the cash book. So when the system was rolled out, that particular module was not completed.
Okay, and when did you report this?
We are working with them, and then they are also giving us the assurance that they are working on the modules.
When did you inform them that you couldn't access the ledger accounts?
I cannot recall that.
Was it in that year?
Yeah, in 2021.
Okay, and what was their advice? Who did you report it to?
Normally, I don't report directly. I have to go through my CEO, who have to communicate to the Accountant General Department.
And why is it that you have to go through the CEO to communicate with the Accountant General's Department?
CEO is my immediate boss.
But you're the head of the finance department and you're dealing directly with the system.
Yes, but if you talk of correspondent outside, that's not my responsibility. That's the responsibility of the CEO.
Okay, so when did you inform your CEO?
Well, I cannot recall that, but we are together.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I cannot recall that.
Okay. So you informed your CEO. When did he inform the Accountant General's department?
No, I cannot recall that.
So what were you doing in the interim when you couldn't use the system?
Yeah, because within the internet there was backlogs that we are struggling to input into the system. Because the system, it was rolled out in March, between March, April. By then, January transactions were not posted, February was not posted, and then March also. And then along the line, we were inputting the backlogs whilst transactions are also ongoing.
So you're saying that you cannot access some of the modules, or you cannot access some of the ledgers, and that was an issue in allowing you to use the system properly?
Yes.
What was the alternative?
By then there was an alternative because since the system was rolled out, we totally migrated to the IFMIS system with the confidence that it's not going to be a try and error, since this is the system that the central government is using, the Accountant General is using. So at the level of Basse Area Council, looking at the staffs at the unit, we could not operate both systems together. So on management level, we decided that let's move to the IFMIS system, since this is a system that councils were yearning for so long. So that's what really convinced us to move automatically to the system.
So I'm just wondering, on a logical and practical level, if you have a system, a new system, that you're struggling to work with, would you not have a backup manual system?
Yeah, when we migrated and then we went far, and then there was a time I can recall during one of our management meetings, it was suggested that we have to go back to the IFMIS system, to the manual system, and I said, I think that is late for now.
Council, may I comment?
No.
Sure.
Mr. Suso, I recall that I asked you the futures of the IFMIS system.
Yes.
Yes, and you talked about the issue of it having the futures of an import and export, and the logical operations were there. And you said you can export to an Excel. That is to say, you can download the information from the IFMIS system and put it in an Excel form. If all of this are available in the IFMIS system, I will beg to disagree with your evidence that there were some modules that were missing in the IFMIS system, because it's a system that is rolled out in all the departments of the ministries, and I cannot see how they will roll out a particular system to you, which is the Basse Area Council. When I talk you, it's not you, Malamin Suso, I'm talking about the council. How they will roll out a system which is not complete and correct. It is not possible, and you know that. Am I correct? Because we have the opportunity of bringing the Auditor General to sit where you are sitting, and he tells us what exactly was rolled out to Basse Area Council and how effective it worked or did not work.
Yes.
So the system that was rolled out to Basse Area Council, was it not a complete system?
No, it was not a complete system.
So what was
simply because of the way we operate, and going by our financial manual, the way and the manner we should prepare our financial statements, and then the way the Accountant General is operating is different.
Okay.
There are some differences in terms of callings, in terms of transactions wise. So definitely that was a challenge, and then we also at our level we understand that there is need for them to adjust our system in line with our operational manual. Because, yeah.
Now, you are talking about operational manual. Look at section of your operational manual. Look at section 906.
Yes.
Page. Can you kindly read section 906?
Page
62.
62.
Yes.
Page 62, yes.
Yes. Can you read 906?
906, okay. Monthly abstraction book.
Yes.
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 Each council shall maintain separate abstraction book for revenue and expenditure. The abstraction
It's not
book,
abstraction, it's abstract.
abstract, yes.
Yes.
Book is to be posted at the end of the month by the senior clerk and analyze the transactions into the cash book prior to being posted to the general ledger.
Do you do this?
2019-2020 transactions are in this form.
Huh?
2019 and 2020 transactions are in this form. They are prepared in this way. But for the IFMIS system, you don't do the abstraction simply because the moment you post the revenue, it will automatically go to the ledgers. That's how the system is built. But if it is the manual system, you abstract your cash book manually to get the ledger accounts.
The reason why I intervene is because you said you had difficulty, and council has asked you what other option, and this is why I referred you to your own manual. You understand? If you had challenge and difficulty, I believe you should have resorted to this, because this is the guideline you have, and until this is reviewed and amended, you operate by this. Is that not correct?
Yes, yes. But yes. I think I make it very clear that when the IFMIS was rolled out,
yes.
we decided to expunge the manual cash book.
You stopped everything?
Exactly. Yeah.
Council, we may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. So who asked you to stop using the manual system?
Well, it was discussed at management level.
Who in management?
Management, myself, CEO. The chairman is most of the time part of the meetings. The IRCC, the planner and the engineer.
So the chairman and who?
Chairman, the CEO, myself, the planner and the engineer of council.
Okay, so it's between yourselves that you decided to stop using the manual system?
Yes, if I can fully recall.
Okay, so I'm assuming that when you started using the IFMIS system, immediately you would have noticed that the ledger module were missing. The ledger modules, or whatever modules you're speaking of, were missing.
Yes, but it's a system that is rolled out to us, and we are working with experts.
So when you're working with experts who develop the system, exactly. You use the system.
Yeah.
So when you use the system, obviously you would know what does not align with your manual.
Yeah.
Right? So you're supposed to input data into the system every day, yeah. Right? So when you input the data and you're now preparing to do your reports, I'm assuming at the beginning, maybe you did the reports every week, or at least you went through the system every week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first week, say they started in March, by mid-April you would have gone through the system to check that what was put in is actually right and is in the right places. Is that right?
When we start the system, by then we are more focused on inputting the income and the expenditure. And that took us almost 6 months before.
To put in income and expenditure?
Yes, that is the backlogs. So because
you said the backlogs were January,
February, March.
So 3 months worth of
a backlog.
Why would that take you 6 months?
Yeah, because by then we have some challenges, and we have internet connection challenges and electricity.
So what's the challenge with the internet connection?
Yeah, because it was difficult by the time to have internet correctly. Sometimes we have to go home and come back around 10 p.m. and work up to 12, 1 o'clock a.m.
So what was the challenge with the internet?
Yeah,
Was it that the council didn't have
strong.
internet? The internet service wasn't working well? What is it?
The internet service from Gamtel was not working well.
So which internet were you using then?
We are using Gamtel.
Gamtel.
Yeah.
Is it fiber optic? Is it dongles? What was it?
No, it was fiber.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you reported these problems to Gamtel.
Of course, we report this matter up to the level of the ministry, and I can recall we have a meeting at the ministry discussing about this issue where all the councils were invited. The
When
PS,
was this meeting?
oh, well, I cannot recall, but the PS
You
was...
can recall the meetings, but you can never recall the dates.
Honestly speaking, I cannot recall.
Can you
the
recall the year?
Yeah, this was in 2022, beginning of 2022, if I
So
can.
2022. Okay. So 2021, who did you report the issue of the internet to?
Like I said earlier, some of these things, when it comes to outside correspondence, CEO do the communication.
So I understand that portion. CEO does the communication, but you're the one responsible for that portion of the work.
Yes.
So it's in your interest to ensure that CEO follows up on your complaints.
Of course, and
Right.
he was...
So I would expect you to know when you complained, how often you complained, you know, what was done about it, whether anything was done about it.
My CEO was very committed. He do call sometimes in my presence, talk to the PS, and then I can recall there was a letter sent to the ministry.
So when he's talking to the PS, which PS is this?
Buba Sanya.
Okay, and what's he telling the PS?
Yeah, regarding to some of the challenges that we are facing with the IFMIS.
Okay, and
Because-
what was the PS's reaction?
Yeah, well, that one is between the PS and the CEO, but CEO will always
You said
tell-
he called in your presence.
Yeah. The CEO will tell me that I have communicated to him, and then he also promised he will do his best to communicate to Ministry of what do I call it again? Yeah, to ensure that the issue of internet connection is sorted, and which he did, because we are invited for a meeting where all the councils were present, and
You
we are
were
able
invited to a meeting in 2022,
to, if I can recall fully.
right?
Yes.
So my concern is in 2021, you came to a council, you said that you've come in and you've met so many challenges, and that has affected your ability to do your work properly.
Exactly.
So I want to know what you did to ensure that you overcame those challenges so that you could actually do what you're legally mandated to do.
Okay. When I went to Passe, I think there were three major issues. One was the financial statement for 2019. The draft audit was with them, which they have to respond because there were queries. Second is the IFMIS system. And then the third one was the loan issue to be contracted, because by then, from 2018 to 2021, council could not implement any projects. So they passed a resolution at the General Council that they need loan. So these are the three key issues that I found on the ground, if I can recall well.
Okay, so how did you resolve the issue of the audit reports for 2019?
I worked with the team, that's the finance department. We prepared, respond to the queries, and then finally we are invited to the PACPEC, and then the auditors also expressed their opinion to say it is unqualified because there is no material evidence found on the report. So we are able to do well with that report, 2019 financial statement.
Okay, so there was the financial statement for 2019.
Yeah.
Great. So now, in 2021, IFMIS, what did you do about that?
Yeah, IFMIS, for now, though it was not easy. It was a big struggle for us, and it was very challenging within the period. But finally, we are able to prepare the 2021-2022 financial statement. When I was living in Bashe, it was submitted to the audit, and I understand that the draft is out for 2020.
When were you supposed to prepare the financial statement for 2021?
April every year.
So you're supposed to prepare it in April of which year?
Like, for example, for 2021, by April 2022, it should be submitted to the national audit.
So you prepared it when?
After.
You said September 2022.
Around September, yeah.
And then the one for 2022 you prepared when?
No, all of them are prepared in the same period.
So how did you prepare the ones for 2022 if you're supposed to have them in the April of the following year?
Yeah, because we are working on the system. That's why we could not able to prepare the report on time.
No, I don't understand. You said you prepare the statement in April of the next year.
Yes.
So for 2021, you prepared by April 2022. And for 2022, you would have to prepare it by April 2023. Is that right?
No, the 2021, we could not.
When are you supposed to prepare the statements?
April.
Every April. So 2021's own should have been ready in April of 2021.
Correct.
Right, okay. And so for 2021 and 2022, both of them moved to September of 2022.
2021, 2022 were prepared in 2023 around March, April. I can recall now.
Sorry. So you're now saying the financial statements for 2021 and 2022 were prepared in March or April of 2023?
Exactly.
So when did you prepare the ones for 2023?
2023, that one is not yet due because we are not at the end of the year yet, because normally financial statements should be prepared at the end of every year.
Mr. Suso, you said you prepare them in April of the year. Now you're saying at the end of the year.
No, but we are talking of 2023, right?
You said
Yes.
you prepared the 2021 statement should have been out in April
Yes.
of 2021.
Yes.
2022 statements by April of 2022.
Yes.
2023 statements by April of 2023.
2024.
How does that make sense?
Because if you talk of 2023, financial statements should be from January 2023 to December 2020.
That's what I would have thought. But your evidence is that 2021 statement should have come out in April of 2021. 2022 statement in April of 2022.
3.
That's not what you said.
Okay. Maybe you don't get me.
No, I got what you said.
Okay.
So it's based on what you said, that's why I'm asking you.
Oh, then okay.
When I asked you twice, you said the statement for 2021 should have been out by April 2021. The statement for 2022 should have been out by April 2022. But both of them were out in March, April 2023. First you said September, then you said March, April 2023.
Yes.
So tell me what I don't understand about what you said.
2021 financial statement should be prepared in 2022 April. 2022 financial statement should be prepared 2023 April. 2023 financial statement should be prepared April 2024.
Okay. Please try not to change that again. So 2021 by 2022, 2022 by 2023.
Exactly.
Okay. So what was the system fixed by the time you were preparing the one for 2021?
Come again?
Was the IFMIS system fixed? Because you said there were issues with the system, which is why you couldn't prepare your reports on time. Was the system sorted out by the time you prepared the report for 2021?
Now it is sorted.
No, by the time you prepared the report for 2021.
The 2021 and the 2022 are all prepared this year.
Was the system sorted by
No.
the time you prepared the 2021 report,
No.
the statements,
No.
it wasn't sorted.
Yes.
What was wrong still?
Yeah, some of the modules were not completed.
So this is by April of 2023.
Yes.
Some of the modules were still not sorted.
No, now they are okay. The modules they are sorted now. And the statements for 2021, 2022 is prepared.
Wait, I asked you.
Yes.
By the time you prepared the reports for 2021, was the system sorted? You said yes. No, sorry, you said no, right?
Yes.
Which one? Tell me, please. Let me
The
not confirm.
2021 and the 2022 are prepared in 2023 March. Around
Yes,
March.
we agreed on that.
Yes.
By the time you were preparing those reports,
Yes.
was the IFMIS system sorted?
Yes.
So there were no issues with none of the modules.
There are some issues still.
What are those issues?
The bank reconciliation is prepared outside the system,
Okay. So
Yes.
how is it prepared? Is it manually?
manually. Yeah.
Okay. And this did not affect your the financial statements.
Well, I submitted the financial statement, and then I did not receive the comments from the auditors yet to see what is going to be their opinion.
So the opinion will essentially be based on what's in the system, but you were able to prepare financial statements using the IFMIS system and the manual system.
Yeah.
Okay. So what stopped you from doing this from the beginning?
No, in the beginning, all the entries are done in the system directly.
You've just said
It's only the bank statement, bank reconciliation that is done outside the system.
that's part of the system, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there any module for bank reconciliation in the system?
It is there, but it's not fully.
It's not working.
It's not working for now.
Exactly. So the IFMIS system, when you came, the whole of 2021, it's not working. You can't use it.
Yeah.
You didn't bother to use any manual books. You didn't use the bank reconciliation. You didn't use the manual cash book. You didn't use general ledger. You didn't use the revenue and expenditure. You didn't use any of that, the manual ones.
Manual, no.
Yes, because you wanted to use the system.
Exactly.
Even though you knew that the system was not working. And even though you did not know when it would be resolved.
No. I was optimistic that, it will be sorted.
So by mid 2021, when you realized that it wasn't sorted, did it not occur to you to use the manual system so that you would have correct books of accounts?
Currently, we have the manual system using the Excel.
Sorry?
Currently, we are using the
I'm
manual
not asking
system.
about correctly. I'm asking about mid 2021.
No,
It did not occur to you to do that.
no.
Okay. Did you have any interest in having an accounting system that worked at Bassa Area Council?
Whether?
Did you have an interest
Yeah.
in having an accounting system that worked in Bassa Area Council?
Yes.
So when you know that your digital system is faulty, why would you not use a manual system?
Yeah, by then we went too far, and then it will be very difficult.
You went too far. How?
When I said we went too far, meaning we have gone too far in using the system. So going back again, meaning that's another tedious job.
But the tedious job is why you're being paid.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter how tedious it is as long as the system works. So you have the digital system and it's not working. Why not use the manual system?
Not necessarily that it was not working. It was in progress.
But you could not print out any reports that you could use to do the financial statements that you needed to do, to issue your quarterly reports like you needed to issue.
Yes.
Are those not reports that you are statutorily mandated to generate?
Yes.
You can't generate them.
By the time, yeah.
Right. Could you not have generated them if you had done the manual method, if you had used the manual method?
Yes, of course.
Right. So would I be right in saying that you chose not to generate those reports?
No, that was not my intention.
That was not, but that was the result.
At the end of the day, that's what happened.
Right. So, can you take me through do you have the budget for 2022, the estimate?
Budget.
Let me give you the exhibit. Is it here? Chair, this is exhibit LGC stroke OT stroke BSAC stroke 002. So you have said that you were involved in the preparation of this budget estimate, right?
Sorry, let me just check the budget first. 2020. Well, I'm seeing difference in the budget. The one you gave to me is different from what I have here. So I don't know.
We would take the one that I gave you because that's the exhibit and that is what was provided by your budget officer.
Oh, okay, all right.
Do you have a separate budget?
Yes, the one I have is 44 million. So I don't know how this 40 million comes about.
How much is in the budget that you're holding?
44 million.
The one that's the exhibit?
This one is 40 million.
It's 40 million.
Yes.
But that was the budget that was approved.
I cannot. There's no letter attached to it, so this is the approved one. But
There's no letter. Is there a letter attached to the one that you have on your system?
Yeah, normally there is a letter from the ministry. So the one I have is 44,900,000. So.
And that is the final copy with the letter from the ministry?
That should be, but this is what I have.
No, is that it? Because I'll ask you to send it so they'll be printed.
The letter is not with me, but this is what I have with me.
So when you have the original one with the letter, you can tender it and then we'll see both. But for now, we have the one that was tendered by your budget officer.
Okay.
So, can you tell us what the recurrent expenditure is?
The recurrent expenditure is 23,982,661.37.
This is your estimate for 2022.
2022.
Okay, so in 2021, the approved recurrent expenditure budget was $12,086,826. Is that right?
12 million?
$12,086,826. That was the approved 2021.
Yes.
Okay, so by September 2021, the actual was $10,051,119.43 butut. Is that right? When you go to the estimate expenditure projection of Basse Area Council.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so 12 million odd is the approved budget for 2021. The actual by September 2021 was 10,051,119. So by December 2021, they may have reached the 12 million mark. Is that right?
Yes.
So what informed the jump from 12 million in 2021 to 23 million, actually almost 24 million in 2022? I know you said projections, but what did you base those projections on?
Yes, what normally triggered is it's tied to the revenue expenditures for the recurrent lines for that particular year. Because normally every year you have to look at what is your needs to be captured in the budget.
Okay, and what are the recurrent subheads for BASA generally? What are your recurrents?
Yeah, you have salaries, wages, allowances, traveling expenses, fuel, maintenance of vehicle, etc.
So your salary expenditure is based on fixed figures, right?
No, every year there is some changes.
The changes will be based on fixed items. So if you had new staff, the salary would increase. If you have less staff, it will reduce. If you have increase in salaries, it would be reflected, but you would have a way of ascertaining what your salaries should be. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's check. You have basic salaries approved in 2021 is 2,571,564. By September 2021, you had spent $2,514,329.62 bututs. So in the budget for 2022, the estimate, you moved from 2.5 million to 5.3 million.
2022?
In the estimate for 2022. 2021's approved budget was for 2.5 million.
No, wait, let me check for 2022, please. Okay. You said the basic salary for 2022.
Basic salary approved 2021. In fact, let's start with 2022 so that it makes sense. Basic salary approved 2020 is 4.9 million.
Which page are you?
Unfortunately, your budget doesn't have page numbers. Estimate expenditure projection of Bassa Area Council 2022. If you need assistance, I can get the document and show you the page. So it's that whole page that you were on.
Oh, all right.
Now you've seen the column that has basic salaries, wages, allowances.
Yes.
Right? So under basic salaries, approved 2020 was 4.9 million.
Yes.
The actual by December 2020 was 4.6 million.
Yes.
So it means they used less than what was budgeted. Approved 2021 was 2.5 million.
Yes.
By September 2021, you had used 2.514, a little less than what was in the budget.
Yes.
Your estimate for 2022 is 5.3 million.
Yes.
So what made you project double basic salaries for 2022 from 2021? Did you hire more staff?
No. For the basic salary, moving from 2.5 million to 5.3 million, this one I believe this must be an error, because the difference is on the high side. So I don't know.
Mr. Suso, can you also provide us with what you have, since you said the budget that council is looking at, you do not think that that is the budget that was approved?
Yeah.
You can please note that and let us have what you have as a budget.
Okay.
So, but you're looking at the one that you have in your system?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at that too.
But the budget you have in your system is 4 million higher than the one that your finance staff tendered.
Yes.
So I'm not sure that that would be much more of a realistic budget.
Okay.
But I mean, feel free.
Can I come in? Mm-hmm. Now I can recall. This was due to the increment of salary, the 30% increment.
30%, you have 50% increment from 2.5 million to 5.3 million. Do you want to make that calculation to decide how much it increased by?
Remember, the 2.5 million is representing September, hazard September, not hazard December, meaning there is 3 months ahead.
When was the increment?
Increment is 2022.
Right, and you were preparing this budget in 2021. You did not know there would be an increment. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Under allowances, approved for 2020, you have 1.4 million.
Sorry, Council, before you proceed on that, he said there must be an error. Can he please explain what the error is? Because of the huge difference in what was budgeted for.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall what actually prompted this difference of moving from 2.5 to 5.3.
Yes?
Okay, I will investigate and find out.
Can I?
Yeah.
Mr. Tuso,
Yes.
you said that it was due to the increment in salaries, 30%.
That's what I believe.
No, listen to me. Okay, now, if you look at the increment here is 100%. Was it that other institutions increased 30%, you increase 100?
Can you come again?
No, what I'm saying is, you said that it is due to the 30% increment
I hope
across the
so.
board.
Yeah.
Now, but if you look at here, the difference is 100%.
50%.
No, from 2 million to 5 million.
Yes.
So it's 100.
Yes.
So please cross-check and provide us with written evidence of
All right.
what the discrepancy is and how come the
Okay.
budget was that high. Yes, Council, you may proceed.
Council, let me just
Yes, sure.
come in here. Before we lose track of an important element which I consider to be very, very crucial here. You talk about the cancellation of the cash book by management.
Yes.
The use of the cash book by management.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of the minutes?
No.
Why? It's a crucial decision.
No.
And you know a cash book is where everything happens.
Yeah.
And if you decide to cancel that and you don't have minutes to that decision, you could be held liable for distorting.
Okay.
So you don't have minutes for it.
I cannot recall
Okay.
minutes
Okay.
prepared and shared among us.
Okay. Now, the problem you're talking about, the IFMIS, Is it peculiar with only Basse Area Council?
Well, what I know is that for us, we are entirely operating on with the IFMIS system.
Okay. The reason why I'm raising this question is that IFMIS is rolled out nationwide.
Yes.
With all the in all the government departments or SOEs and all of these things. Why is it that you are the only complainant of the IFMIS program? The others, the tons of people in ministries and SOEs and all, no one of them has complained about what you are complaining.
I know other councils are complaining when it comes to the
Who?
IFMIS.
Which councils?
Yeah.
Be specific, because they are coming too. We will ask them.
Yes.
Which council are you referring to specifically?
All the councils are complaining.
All?
All, yes.
Okay.
The IFMIS system,
okay.
still there are incomplete modules that need to be completed to be able to prepare a financial statement for the councils.
Taking you back, have you ever produced a financial statement for Basse Area Council since you got in?
Yes, 2019, 2020, on manual.
On manual?
Yes.
Can we have that?
Yes, I can provide you with
okay.
it.
And 2021, 2022, you haven't?
It's available now on the IFMIS.
In the IFMIS, which you are complaining about?
No, now it's done.
Now, and the cancellation of the cash book, now you have a system that you can use.
Now we are using the system now.
Now, I know for certain that in using digital systems, at first you used to post into several books.
Yeah.
Now, once you do one entry, it goes to the other ones which you have rightly alluded to.
Yes.
And yet still you complain about IFMIS not being accurate.
By how?
Which one is better?
By how?
You have complained.
I don't get that. Complaining the IFMIS is still not totally...
Not functional.
No, it is...
To the best of your knowledge, to produce what you want, the IFMIS is not functional.
Yeah, right now, like I said earlier, the bank reconciliation is out of the system. But we can produce the financial statement even without having the bank reconciliation system in the system, module in the system.
Okay.
Yes.
We are taking your word, or I am taking your word
Exactly.
as the absolute truth.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with that. And
Okay.
the problem is the dates that you are giving us doesn't tie, it doesn't fly with me. You know the regulations in the Local Government Act. You have to be producing these things not April but in March.
Okay.
Why are you taking it to April? And why did you have to defer it 1 year later for some?
Yeah. If you correct me, it is March, not April.
Yes.
Yes, then I take that one. But the reason why we could not produce these reports on time is because we have migrated to the IFMIS and we are working on it.
No, you see, my problem with migration
Yes.
is that when you are migrating, you have to migrate parallel. You do a parallel migration, not so.
That's very right.
You don't squash off the old one and just concentrate on the new one. You do a parallel migration. Why do you do a parallel migration?
Yeah, you are very right. That was...
No, I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm very right. Thank you for telling me that. But
Yeah.
why do you do a parallel migration?
It's because if you look at the accounting staffs at Basse Area Council...
No. I'm not looking at it. I said, why do you need to have a parallel migration?
Yeah, to ensure that if this one system fails, the other one goes on.
Not only that.
Yeah.
What else? To compare the results at the end.
Yeah.
At the end is to compare the results. That I've run this parallel to this, and they are giving me the same results. When they don't give you the same results, then you investigate.
Yes.
But you haven't done that.
Yes.
So why? My question is, why haven't you done that?
We are comfortable with the IFMIS. We decided to go with the IFMIS only.
Sorry to say, that is not flying with me. Your explanation is not flying with me. Because you have the tools to check and to query. You've never bothered to use that tool to check and to query. You decided to sit aloof and say, it's happening, it's happening. And then you make use of that problem by not producing what you should produce at the material time that it should have been produced. Am I right?
Okay.
It's a yes or a no. Am I right?
You are right.
Thank you.
So, can I come back? It's just to, I think I didn't hear you well. Did you say your accounts were qualified?
No, we don't have enough staffs. We don't have enough staffs to operate the two systems parallel. Unqualified opinion for 2019. Yeah. The 2019, okay.
Mr. Suso,
Yes.
let me just take you a step back before we get back to this particular budget. What are the steps that you take when you're preparing your budget?
Yeah. Normally every June, July,
Every what?
every June, July of every year,
Okay.
a circular is prepared
Okay.
by the advice of the chairman to the CEO to all the councillors, ward councillors, and then equally to department heads to submit their priority areas for the budget preparation.
Okay.
And then we do have a budget subcommittee and then finance subcommittee. After the submission of reports from the ward councillors, then the budget subcommittee will sit over it and finance committee, trying to prioritize the areas and then submit to the council for approvals.
So you send out the circular in June or July,
Yeah.
and when do you get a response?
Normally a timeline is given.
What's the timeline?
It depends because by September the budget should be adopted at the council.
That's why I'm asking you. If you send out the circular in June or July, when do you get the response?
Normally, normally a timeline is given like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 1 month, like 3 weeks. Then others will submit on time, but I understand others will submit lately.
Okay, so in 2021, you sent out the circular?
A circular was sent, yes.
Who prepared the circular?
The CEO.
Okay. What was your involvement?
My involvement will be during the budget preparation with the finance subcommittee and then audit and the budget subcommittee. I work with them to
So
advise.
who are the members of the finance subcommittee and the budget subcommittee?
The finance subcommittee is headed by Senu Kanute.
Who's that?
He's a councillor for Bashe Ward.
Okay.
Myself, the budget officer, the plan and engineer, the CEO. Then you have Sana Drame.
Who's that?
Sana Drame is a councillor. Mariama Trawale
Who's that?
is also a council rep for women's rep at the council.
Okay.
Yes, if I can recall all, I think these are the members.
And who are the members of the budget subcommittee?
We have Mbai Ture.
Who's that?
Mbai Ture is a councillor.
Okay.
If I can recall, Ibrahima Danso. I cannot recall them all, but there are like 3 to 4 councillors.
Are you a member of that committee?
Finance subcommittee. Yes.
Budget subcommittee.
Budget subcommittee, yes.
Is your CEO a member? Or rather, was your CEO a member?
CEO is the secretary to all committees within the councils.
The CEO is the secretary.
Yes.
Do you not have a clerk?
Yeah, we have a clerk, but CEO can delegate.
The CEO will delegate to himself.
No, the CEO should be the secretary to all subcommittees.
Where do you get that from?
Yeah, it's there. It's in the act.
Please show me. Do you have the act?
Yeah, local government act.
Okay.
If I can.
Whilst you're looking, let me just ask you, when you say the CEO is the secretary, is it he takes the minutes of the meetings, does basically secretarial duties?
Yeah, for
Okay.
all, but he can also delegate.
So just show me where you're saying the act says. If you like, I can assist you with the sections that deal with the functions of the CEO and the functions of the clerk.
Okay.
Functions of the CEO are under Section 43 of the Local Government Act. The functions of the clerk are under Section 44 of the Local Government Act.
No, so it's somewhere. This one.
So let me read out the functions of the Chief Executive Officer whilst you're looking for it.
Okay.
Section 43 says that the Chief Executive Officer shall manage the affairs of the Council and shall be answerable to the Council and be subject to its direction and control. A Chief Executive shall, in the exercise of his or her functions, report to the Chairperson. Without prejudice to the generality of the provisions of this section, a Chief Executive shall be an ex officio member of all committees of the Council, shall be responsible for the day-to-day performance of the executive and administrative functions of the Council and the implementation of all its decisions. He shall supervise, monitor, and coordinate the activities of the departments of the Council and ensure accountability and transparency in the management and delivery of the Council's services. He shall be the accounting officer of the Council, shall be the custodian of all documents and records of Council, and shall perform such other functions as are required by this Act or any other enactment. There's nowhere where it says the Chief Executive Officer is the secretary to every committee. It says it's an ex officio member of every committee. He doesn't take notes, etc. Clerk of the Council. There shall be a clerk of each council who shall be appointed by the Local Government Service Commission. The clerk of the council shall be responsible for taking minutes of council meetings, keeping records of council meetings, organizing meetings of the council and its committees, and discharging such other duties as may be assigned to him or her. The clerk shall be answerable to the council in the performance of his or her functions.
Okay.
So do you still stand by your position that it is the CEO that is supposed to be the secretary to the committees?
The subcommittee, yes, I stand by that. Later I will check it.
Okay, after
confirm.
break, kindly please show us where it says that.
Okay.
So are you saying that your clerk is not on every committee?
The clerk of council? No.
Yes. Who's the clerk of council?
Ismaila Sediba.
He was the clerk as of 2021?
Yeah, end of 2021 to 2022.
Was he end of 2021 to 2022?
Yeah.
And did you meet him there or did he come after you were there?
He met me there.
How was he appointed?
Well, he was an university intern.
He was
Then
a what?
University intern. Then later on, he was given contract from the council.
So it's the council that hired its own clerk.
Exactly.
Didn't you know that it's the service commission that's supposed to hire your clerk?
It was given a lower grade, 3 point. It was paid on allowance, in fact.
No.
It
I
wa-
asked, did you not know that it is the local government service commission that is supposed to hire your clerk?
I cannot recall that.
But you said you're familiar with the act.
Yeah, but that particular portion, I cannot fully recall that. But it could be right.
So your CEO sits on every committee, does he?
He's supposed to sit, yes.
No. Did he sit on every committee?
Well, there are certain meetings, I will not be part of those meetings.
You pay based on sittings, right?
Yes.
So you would have a list of the members who sat during each sitting because they would have to sign an attendance sheet.
Sometimes he sit in meetings, sometimes he will delegate.
So when he delegates, who collects his sitting allowance?
The guy who is being represented.
So your CEO generally sits on every committee unless he delegates someone else to sit, right?
Yes.
And your clerk doesn't sit on every committee.
No.
So your CEO, does he take the minutes of these meetings that he attends?
Most of the time he do delegate.
Somebody to take the minutes.
Yes.
Who takes the minutes?
Most of the time council clerk.
You just said that the clerk doesn't sit in on all the meetings.
Most of the time he do delegate the council clerk or any of the staff that he feel like delegating in the committee to take minutes.
So when did your clerk, did you leave the clerk there? Is he still working for Basse Area Council?
No. He left Basse Area Council.
When did he leave?
I come to know just last month.
When you were leaving, was he still there?
Yes, when I was leaving, he
So
was
that
there.
was, you left in July, right?
Yeah, July.
So as of July 2023, he was still the clerk.
Yes.
Okay. So the CEO, are there any minutes where the CEO has given himself the work of the clerk to be taking minutes and who convenes the meetings?
Normally the chairperson of the committee.
Okay. So are there any meeting minutes where the CEO has given himself these additional duties?
Yeah, it could be.
Are there or are there not?
Yeah, it could be. I cannot recall fully, but I know it could be.
So try not to, it could be. It's either you know or you don't know.
Yeah, there
Just
must
so
be
that there's
minutes.
some clarity. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so you were saying budget subcommittee meeting, finance subcommittee meeting. You're on both committees.
Yes.
The CEO is on both committees.
Yes.
How often do you sit in a year?
In 2021, the committees were not regular.
We're not what?
We are not having regular meetings.
So how many meetings did you have?
Normally, for the budget committee, when the budget process is approaching, that is normally the time we do have sittings.
When did you hire a budget officer?
I met him. I met that arrangement was in place.
You met what?
I met the budget officer was redeployed. He was an accounting assistant. Later, he was redeployed as budget officer.
Yes, when was he redeployed as budget officer?
I cannot recall.
It was after you came?
Yes.
2022?
No. 2022.
So in 2021?
No, not 2020. It must be 2020 or 2019.
He was budget officer in 2020?
Yes.
Okay. So when you came to the council, there was already a budget officer in place?
Yes.
Under your department?
Yes.
Okay. So what was his role?
He was redeployed as budget officer, not meaning he's been appointed.
Mr. Suso?
Yes.
When you came to Basse Area Council, was he the budget officer?
Yes.
That was his role, his title?
The title, yes.
Okay. So what was his role when you found him there? Because you keep talking about he was redeployed as budget officer. I'm not sure I understand what that means.
Officially, I did not see any document to show this is his role and responsibility.
Did you ask for any documentation?
I did not ask.
Okay. So you treated him as budget officer. When you were paying salaries, you paid budget officer salaries?
No.
No? Sorry, 1 second. Registrar, can I please have the establishment register for Basse? Thank you. So, yes, please go on.
Yes?
I said, please go on. You were explaining.
Yeah, I was not we are not paying him on budget officer grade.
Yes, we'll check.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you found him as a budget officer. So what was his function in the council?
This gentleman is Hussein Toure. What I know, his confirmed destination is accounting assistant.
Okay.
But I saw a document to say the general council has redeployed him as budget officer without any TOR, without any salary attached to the position.
Okay.
And this will advance simply because of the reforms that councils are going through. That is the PFM reforms. But not any documentation or an appointment given to him, neither agreed for him to be paid.
So you were paying him as an accounts clerk?
Accounting assistant. Senior accounting assistant, yeah.
So but he was under your department, so you would know what his functions were?
Yes.
So what were his functions?
When it comes to the budget preparations, he is the key person to support me.
And how does he support you?
Yeah, in preparation of the budget.
So he drafts the budget for you?
Yeah, we draft it together as a team. We work as a team.
So you both sit together for every step of the budget process?
Not every step of the budget process, but he normally work on the budget with the budget committee, even whereas I'm not available.
So you've listed the members of the budget committee, and he's not on it.
He should be part of it.
No, you didn't list him. You said Baiture, Ibrahim Adanso, Lamin Suso, yourself, the CEO. Lamin Suso.
Yeah, he should be part of it.
He should be. Is he a member of the budget committee?
Yes.
Okay. So he drafts the budget.
Yeah.
And then what is your input into the budget?
My input is I work with him tirelessly to ensure that the budget is prepared accordingly.
So how often did you sit in 2021 as a budget subcommittee?
Well, I know we have sittings, but I cannot recall how many times.
You have sittings, but you can't recall how many times?
Yes.
When do you remember sitting? Did you sit to discuss the 2022 budget?
Yes.
When would you have sat? Before the draft budget?
Of course, before the draft budget.
No, say of course, because you can't remember. So when? Would it be before you sent out the circular or after you sent out the circular?
No, the circular will be sent. Then if we receive the submissions, then the budget committee will sit over it. And normally these submissions are done at the planning and engineer's office.
Who submits? Okay, let me just ask you before who submits. Who do you issue the circulars to?
The ward councillors
Okay,
and the department heads.
okay. And they come back within 3 weeks, you said.
Yeah.
So let's say a month. So if you submit in June, maybe end of July. If you submitted in July, maybe end of August. So let's say by August. So by August, your budget subcommittee would have started?
Yes.
And when you sit, what are you discussing?
Yeah, we discuss and look at the submissions and then come out with recommendations.
Recommendations about what?
About some of the submissions from wards, subcommittees.
So what would the wards have submitted? Would it be the proposed development plans?
Yeah, because also we will invite these ward committees, ward councillors to come and defend what they have submitted.
Okay.
And all those who receive the circular, both the staffs, department heads, and the ward councillors will come and defend what they have submitted.
When you're issuing the circular to the ward councillors and the different department heads, do you give them perhaps a ceiling for what their project should cost? Or do you just leave it open and tell them just submit a project?
It is open.
It is open. Why is that?
Yeah, because normally we don't give them ceilings to say this is what should be the ceiling for your projects.
So how do you decide which projects to take on?
If they submit, then they'll be invited to defend.
No. So that's them justifying why they need a project.
Yes.
You, as the budget subcommittee, how do you determine which project you will choose?
Me, I don't determine.
Okay, so who determines that?
It's the committee.
Which committee?
The budget subcommittee will look at it. And
I just asked you, as the budget subcommittee,
yes.
how do you determine which projects?
Yeah,
you will take?
we look at the financial muscles of council.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means you would have had an idea of how much money council actually has, right?
Yes.
What is council's projected revenue
Yeah.
for the following year? Is that right?
You know, the budget, during the process of the budget,
Yes.
at this time, we are planning to come up with projections for the following year, but putting in accounts what we have collected from the period of January to June, especially the second quarter.
So back to what I'm asking you. When you're discussing at budget subcommittee level,
Yes.
which projects you're going to take on that the ward councillors and everybody has brought to you, you would need to know what you have in your accounts.
We do, yes, we can have estimates for that.
To know what's in your accounts, you would have estimates. You won't know.
No, during the budget process, we are not looking at how much is in our account. We are now projecting for the following year.
Okay, so you don't need to know, because you said financial muscle, so you don't need to know what amounts the council has in its accounts.
No, I will know how much is in the account, but for the following year, how much we should collect, actual, to know what's, by that time you cannot know that.
You can't know what you're expecting in the following year for revenue.
Yeah, yes, we do.
Okay, so
it's a process.
Right.
It's a process.
So when you're sitting, by the time you're having that meeting before September, you would have a projection of your expected revenue for 2022.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Can I?
did you say something?
You've told this commission, Mr. Suso, that you send circulars. What is contained in your financial manual as to how you do the budget preparation?
Yes. The budget preparations should be participatory,
Can you refer me to the provision that highlights what you need to do as finance director?
Okay, can I read?
You tell me the section and the page and you read.
Page 17.
Page
17, 17.
17.
Yes.
Section?
Section 301. Chapter 301.
Page 17.
Yes, page 17.
17.
17, yes.
Yes. Yes?
All right. The Director of Finance shall give actual expenditure for the previous financial year. Calculate the estimated. Yeah, okay. Calculate the estimated expenditure for the ensuing year. Prepare nominal rule and details of establishment for the council employees.
I am talking about the process. This is sub 2 of 302. Am I correct? What you are reading to me is sub 2 of 302.
No, what I'm reading is chapter 3, 301, budgeting and budgetary control.
Yes.
Yes.
301, what I have, maybe I have something slightly different from what you have.
Yes.
What I have is 301 is the annual budget.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, page 16.
And 301, the
Yes.
first paragraph, read me the second paragraph to that effect.
301.
The second paragraph to the first paragraph, which has a heading of the annual budget.
Yes.
Yes. What does it say?
The annual budget should be the document in which the income and expenditure of councils
Shall be the document.
Yes, shall be the document in which the income and expenditure of the councils are stipulated and authorized by the members of the council.
Yes.
It shall form the basis of the income, revenue, and expenditure payments
For
during,
the income.
for the income, revenue, and expenditure payments during the financial year.
Yes.
The
The next-
director of finance shall, after consultation with the ward committees, administrative, technical, and professional staffs of the council responsible for the controlling expenditure and performance, cause the budget to be drawn up and presented to the council as provided in the Local Government Finance and Audit Act, Section 8.
Yes. And what does Section 8 of the Finance and Audit Act say?
I don't have the copy with me here. I thought it was.
Yeah, we will come back to that. Council, can you proceed, please? Thank you. So before Council comes in, from what you have in your financial manual,
Yes.
it is true that when you send the circulars, you do consultation. And when you said ward councillor, that is where you send the circular. That was not correct. It is to the ward committee that you send the circular to, based on what is contained in your financial manual. Is that right?
Yeah. After consultation with the ward committees,
That is what I'm saying. You gave evidence that you sent the circular to the ward councillor. I'm saying, based on what is contained in your financial manual, you are not supposed to send your circular to a councillor. You are supposed to send it to the ward committee, because they are supposed to write to you what they want with respect to their particular ward. Is that not the case?
Yes, yes.
Councillor, you may proceed.
Thank you. So, Mr. Suso?
Yes.
We were on the issue of what information you would have at the time you're having the budget subcommittee meeting. So, did you agree that you would have the details of your expected revenue for 2022 as at the time you're having the budget subcommittee meeting?
Yes, for the previous year.
Pardon?
For the previous years, as mentioned in the financial manual.
20 who?
For the previous year, as mentioned in the financial manual. Meaning,
No, I didn't ask you about the previous year. I said for the upcoming year, you
Yes.
would have an estimated projection of what revenue you would receive by the time you're having that budget subcommittee meeting.
yes,
Okay, so you would have that. So you're saying that during that meeting, the ward councillors or committees would be present.
yes,
Okay, and everybody would justify what it is that they want as their development projects, etc. So how do you decide which ones you're going to pick?
no, we don't decide. The general council do decide.
So what do you do as a budget subcommittee?
We combine all the submissions. It goes to the finance subcommittee. Then the finance committee will do the presentation at the general council.
Okay, it's handy that you're in the finance subcommittee. So when it now comes to the finance subcommittee, what do you do?
Yeah, the finance subcommittee will go through the submissions and then try to recommend some of the submissions to be captured in the budget, and then later it will be submitted to the council for presentations.
So how do you decide which ones to recommend to the council?
One of the basic things that we look into is the financial muscle of council, what we can able to do.
Okay. So how do you determine what you can do?
That is tied to our revenue, expected revenue.
Okay. So 2022, your development budget was 17,018,375.68 bututs.
Yes.
Right? And that is the budget that's supposed to be 60% of your total revenue, is that right?
Yes, that's what's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be. But your recurrent budget was $23,980,261.37 bututs.
Yes.
Now, both of these make up your $40,998,637.05 bututs.
Correct.
So, was your development budget 60% of your budget?
No.
It was less than 50% of your budget.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because of the recurrent expenditure.
Who controls your recurrent expenditure?
The CEO is the board controller.
And you're in charge of finances.
Yes.
So the budget is really more under your purview. The CEO makes decisions, final decisions, but you prepare the budget.
Yes.
So at what point do you advise the finance subcommittee that your development budget is not sufficient? It doesn't meet the statutory requirement of 60%.
Yeah. Simply because the budget is very tight. You can see the recurrent expenditure is 23 million.
No. So what I'm asking is, at what point in the finance subcommittee meeting do you tell them, do you advise them that, your budget is under the statutory requirement of 60%? and that this budget will not fly?
Yes, this is due to the subventions that's supposed to come from the government, as mentioned in the local government Act 128, stated that 25% of the development budget should come from the central government. So if you look at the 23 million, why it is high? Because
no, Mr. Suso, sorry, that is not. We are being confused here. What council is asking is the fact that he has given you the figures of the budget for 2022. Am I correct, council? The budget, the estimated budget.
Yes.
For 2022. She has given you the sum total for the recurrent budget and the sum total for the development budget, and has said that it is not up to the 60%. The development budget, based on what is provided for, is not up to 60%. Why, at what point did you advise that this budget cannot fly because it did not meet the statutory requirement as provided for in the Local Government Finance and Audit Act of 2004?
Yeah, I normally advise them during our meetings.
No, but this budget has already been passed and implemented, and it does not meet the statutory requirement as provided for in the law. And she has asked you said it is the CEO.
No,
now she has asked you, hang on.
Yes.
She has asked you again, and you said, she has told you that it is you that prepares the budget and advise the CEO.
Yes.
Because if you prepare the budget, one can safely assume that you are mindful what your manual says and what the law provides, so that you can work within the precincts of both your manual and what the law is saying. Is that not how you operate?
Yes, that's how we operate.
So why do you have a budget that is not in compliance with the Act?
Yeah, simply because we are not receiving 25% of our development budget from the central government. So if you look at the recurrent expenditure, it is such a way that...
At what point in time and where is the evidence that the subvention that you need to receive should form part of your budget?
Yes.
Where is it written? The evidence should reflect where it is saying that subvention should be part of your budget allocation, both recurrent and recurrent expenditure and...
it only specifies the capital expenditure, 25%.
Yes?
It only specifies 25% for the capital expenditure.
So give me the...
Yes.
Yes.
This is Section 128 of the Finance and Audit Act.
Section?
128 stated that the central government should provide 25% of council development budget.
Finance and Audit Act.
Yes.
Are you referring to the main act or the Finance and Audit Act? Can you please check again? 2004. Please check. what? 120?
128.
128.
Yes.
Check whether it's the Finance and Audit Act.
Yes, it's Financial Audit Act, Section 128.
No, it's not Finance and Audit Act. It's not in the Finance and Audit Act. You can note that, and when we come back, you can refer out to the proper legislation, because the Finance and Audit Act stops at section 40.
Okay.
Yes. Council, you may proceed. Please refer us to the proper law.
Mr. Suso, so we had stopped at where I was asking you at what point you advised the Finance Subcommittee about the sufficiency of your budget.
Yeah, normally I advise them during the process of the budget.
So for this 2022 budget, you advised them that the 17 million did not meet the required 60%?
Yes.
And what was the result of your advice?
The results of?
Your advice to them?
Yeah, they accepted. We went to bilateral at the ministry.
No, sorry. They accepted what? So you told them that the 17 million does not make up 60% of the budget?
Yes.
Okay, so you were saying that this is because you didn't receive your 25% from central government?
Yes.
Okay, did you receive it in 2020?
For 2020, I did not prepare the budget.
But you had access to the budget?
The budget, no, I don't have it here.
Did you have access to the budget when you were at Basse?
Yeah, I saw the budget, yeah.
You saw the budget, and you saw that there was no 25% from government?
No.
You saw that, or you didn't see that?
I saw it, there is no 25%.
There was nothing from central government?
Yes.
2021, there was nothing, no 25% from central government?
Yes.
2019, 2020, nothing?
Yes.
So why would you be looking for that 25% in the 2022 budget?
Yeah, this is why we could not go by the policy document as stated in the financial manual.
So wait, government gives you 25% of your development budget, right? That's what they're supposed to give you.
Yeah.
That means your development budget should have already been there. They're just giving you 25% of it. Is that not right?
But later we decided to expand.
No. Is that not right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so if your development budget is 17 million, government will give you 25% of that 17 million. Is that not right?
No, at this point we are not considering.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yes.
Okay, so if 17 million is your development budget, 23 million is your recurrent budget, it does not make up 60% of your budget. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so government subvention, 25% has nothing to do with that budget. Is that not right? Of that draft budget.
No, this draft budget, we are no more considering the 25%.
Sorry, move closer to the mic. You're what?
The 17 million here, we are not considering the 25% from central government because we have not been receiving it for over years. So this is why we did not capture it.
You're saying your development budget is not up to 60% of your total budget because you're not receiving the 25% from government.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, Government is supposed to give you 25% of that 60%. It has to be 60% first. Is that not right? But this is not 60%.
It's not 60%, of course, because we have a tight budget simply because of the recurrent expenditure.
So if your budget, your development budget is not 60%, that means your recurrent budget needs to come down. Is that not right?
Which is very difficult.
Does it need to come down or does it not need to come
It's
down?
supposed to come down.
Okay. And why should it come down?
To align it with the regulation.
With the Act. And
Yes.
why is it that the Act says that your development budget should be 60%?
To ensure that it is plowed back to the taxpayers.
To ensure the what?
To ensure that the 60% of the revenue is plowed back to the community.
Now, what makes up the bulk of your recurrent expenditure?
Like I mentioned earlier, you have salaries, wages, operational expenses are all part of the recurrent expenditure.
So most of the operational expenses are based on running the council itself, right?
Exactly.
Salaries and general runs, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying the 60% is so that the monies go back to the community because you're getting all these expenses you're supposed to be getting from the community, right? So if you're paying more salaries and spending more money just to exist rather than giving back to the community, do you think you need to have a council?
Yes, we need to have a council.
Why? So that you can have jobs?
No, this 60-40 is a challenge. But
No, I'm asking, why do you need to have a council if all you're doing is paying salaries? Is it to keep your jobs?
no, because of without the operations, whatever we want to do, we cannot achieve it at the end of the day.
And the entire purpose of the operations is so that you can do development.
Exactly.
So if you're not doing development, what is your use?
No, we are doing development.
2022, your development budget is maybe about 30%, 40%. The math gurus in the hall can help me. But you're right. So can you tell us what that 17 million is, what percentage it is of your budget for 2022?
It's about 40-something%.
Okay.
No,
so
can we get proper figures? Because we are dealing with evidence. Calculate it and give us exact and proper figures.
It's about 41%. 41.5%.
41.5? Okay, so your development budget is 41.5%.
Yeah.
Council, can you please repeat the figures for Commissioner Joyner?
41.5. Oh,
The actual figures.
Okay, so the recurrent expenditure,
Can you please take the figures?
sorry, the development budget is 17,018,375.68 bututs. The total budget is 40,998,637.05 bututs. 998,637.05 bututs. Sorry, the total budget, 40,998,637.05. Is 17,018,375.68 bututs. Okay, so he said that's 41.5%. So if your development budget is 41.5%, that means your recurrent expenditure is 59.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was asking, 59.5, 58.5. I was asking if what you're doing, if the monies that you're spending are mostly on running the council, what is the point of having you in existence?
Yes, this 60-40 is a challenge for councils, most especially Basse. But for me, I believe that doesn't mean that councils should not exist, because we are all the time working on how to ensure that this 60% is achieved, to be in line with the Act.
So you doubled the budget for basic salaries to $5,314,524, and you couldn't justify why it was doubled.
I will justify it.
Okay.
I will investigate.
Right now, you're in the box. You prepared this budget. This budget was approved. I'm assuming you justified it to your finance subcommittee. You justified it to the general council. You justified it at the ministry.
Yeah.
And then it's the budget that you used for 2022, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means it was justified at some point.
Yeah.
So you doubled the salaries, but you didn't increase jobs. Your allowances in 2020, the approved allowance was $1,442,850. The actual as of December 2020 was $3,571,982. Is 71 butts. So double what you actually budgeted for.
For 2020?
For 2020.
Was not my time. By then I was not in Basse.
You said you used the past to project for 2022, no? And that included 2020 and 2021.
Okay.
But don't worry, I'm making it to 2022. I was just going through. Have you
Okay.
seen the page?
Come again?
Have you seen the page that we're going through? The one that we were on, where I drew the...
Yeah, the 2022 budget overview.
No, the estimate expenditure projection.
The estimate revenue projection or expenditure.
Estimate expenditure projection. The page that we were on previously when we were going through the basic salaries that had increased to 5.3 million.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the page we're at. So for allowances, the approved budget for 2020 was $1,442,850.
Yes.
The actual spent was $3,571,982.
Yes.
The approved budget for 2021 for allowances was $2,370,262.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
By September 2021, you had used $1,979,346.68 butut. Right?
Yes.
Now your estimate for allowances for 2022 was $5,513,534.36 bututs.
Yes, for 2022, the allowances and the traveling expenses are all part of the allowances. The night allowance, traveling expenses are all part of the allowances.
So these allowances have nothing to do with the salaries, the allowances that attach to the salaries?
Yes, there was an increment of some of the revenue lines. There was an adjustment of some of the revenue lines to these allowances.
What adjustment?
Yeah, the night allowance was part of it. The IFMIS allowances are also part of it.
How many of you went for IFMIS training?
That was in 2020, 2021. December, January, February 2021.
How many of you went for IFMIS training?
At Basse, I think it's about 7, 8.
And the IFMIS allowance, training allowance was it not about $2,000?
No, the CEO is receiving 10,000.
The who?
The CEO.
10,000 per what? Month?
For IFMIS allowance. Yeah,
Per what?
Monthly.
Monthly.
Yeah.
So 3 months, that's 30,000.
The Director of Finance is receiving 8,000.
Okay, for 3 months, 24.
Yeah, but this projection is for the whole year 2020.
I know, that's why we're going to get to those allowances.
Okay.
So, so that's 58 you've removed.
Okay. You have accounts clerk, acting finance manager is receiving 5,000.
Okay, 15.
The budget officer is receiving 5,000.
Another 15.
Accounting assistant Keru is receiving 5,000.
Another
The
15.
planner and engineer is receiving 5,000.
Another 15. So that's 60 gone. And 58. Yes.
These are the people that I can recall.
So let's give it a very generous projection. So let's say you spend 200,000 on IFMIS training.
Okay.
Receipt of IFMIS allowance.
Yes, for the IFMIS
Receipt
allowances.
for them using the IFMIS system.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the allowance for? It was for the training.
For the use of IFMIS system.
Yes.
You were paid an allowance to use the IFMIS system?
Yes.
Not for the training?
No.
Why would you be paid an allowance to do your job? To use the system?
Yes.
Who approved this allowance?
The General Council.
Were they paid anything for the IFMIS system?
Yes, we are paid allowance.
You paid them allowances?
No, they paid staffs using the IFMIS allowance.
The council, were they paid any allowances in respect of IFMIS?
No.
None of them, not the chairman?
No.
Okay. So the general council, who proposed it to the general council to pay the staff allowances for using the IFMIS system?
Management.
Who is management?
CEO, myself.
So you went to the general council and convinced them that you needed to be paid to use the IFMIS system?
Yes.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So this is the system that was rolled out for you to use instead of the cash books, the manual cash books, right?
It was rolled out to council to use.
It was rolled out for all councils, but it was supposed to be so that you have a better system, you don't use the manual system, etc., right?
Yes.
To make council more efficient. So it was actually helping you do your job.
Yeah.
Why are you paid to use a system that's making your job easier? Why would you even go to the council to convince them to pass a resolution to pay you to make your job easier?
Yeah, we understand that.
Mr. Suso, before you answer that, she just mentioned the issue of resolution. Was there a resolution to that effect by the council to pay you the allowances?
Yeah.
There was a resolution.
Yeah, I was told
please note and provide us with the resolution.
I was told by CEO that was the resolution.
There was a resolution?
Yes.
So please provide us with the resolution.
I will communicate this.
Please note that. Thank you. You can proceed to answer the question.
So, yes, you can answer, and then we move to the next question.
Okay. Can I comment? About the 25% of the development budget is in the Local Government Act, Section 128.
Okay, we know it's in the Act.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So my question was, why would you convince the General Council to pass a resolution for you to be paid to use the system that's making your job easier?
Yes. What I can say is that I understand before I was posted to Basse, the management decided to push it to the General Council for approval for using the system.
So when you came to Basse and you found out that management decided to push it to the General Council, when did you tell them that you don't think this is right?
No, I never tell them this is not necessary.
You didn't tell them it was not necessary?
No.
Because the money was coming from the council. And you said the planner collected allowance?
Yes.
He does not use the IFMIS system, does he?
It is the plan and engineer, the development module is in the IFMIS system, but it's
Does
not
the planner use the IFMIS system?
For now, it's not using it.
For now. So for the past 3 years, he hasn't been using the system. So why is he being paid for the system, to use the system?
Yes, I found this thing happening, and then.
You said management went to the General Council, and you said management is yourself and the CEO. So when the CEO, is it the CEO who suggested to you?
I found this thing.
You found what? Was there a document?
I was told there was a document, but I did not.
Who told you?
The CEO.
Okay, so the CEO told you that this is what his plan is, this is what he's going to do. You did not dissuade him. You didn't point out that some of these staff would not be using the system. Did you?
No.
Okay, and you didn't point out that it's not necessary. So in which year or what month in the year did you go to the General Council with this?
This was not my time. It was not in my time. But
What was not in your time?
When they were pushing this allowance.
Not when they were pushing it. When you said the council passed a resolution.
Yes.
Okay, so when did the council pass the resolution?
I cannot recall, but I'm told there was a resolution passed at the council.
Mr. Suso, you said you and the CEO went to the council, General Council.
Then that must be an oversight on my side.
The IFMIS system did not come until you came to Basse Area Council. Is that not right?
Yeah,
So they could not have passed the resolution before the system came?
No, the system was in process.
You said the IFMIS system came in March 2021. So there could not have been a resolution passed to pay you to use the IFMIS system before the IFMIS system came. Is that not right?
No, since I was in Brikama, the IFMIS system was.
We're talking about
progress.
Basse. Brikama, you didn't collect any allowance for using the IFMIS system, did you?
No.
Okay, so Basse.
Yes.
The IFMIS system came to Basse in March 2021.
Yes.
There could not have been a resolution passed before March 2021 to pay you for IFMIS, for using the IFMIS system.
Yes.
So when, as you said earlier, when you and the CEO went to the council so that a resolution would be passed for this IFMIS system, when was that?
I cannot recall.
But a resolution was passed?
Yes.
And it was a written resolution?
Yes.
Okay, can you avail us of a copy of that resolution, please?
Yes, I will communicate to the CEO.
Okay, thank you. So whenever an allowance that's not provided for in the Finance and Audit Act, in the Local Government Act, or has been set out by the Ministry of Lands, is it the General Council that passes a resolution for that?
For this one, what I understand is that there was a resolution passed at General Council and it was implemented by management.
Okay, so you'll get us a copy of that resolution.
Okay.
Now, another resolution I wanted to ask, you said about the salary increments. The central government increased salaries in 2022 by 30%, right?
Yeah.
Now, this salary increment seems to have spilled over to the General Council. Their allowances were increased by 30%, is that not right?
Yes.
What was the basis of that increment?
Yeah, this $5 million, this $5.3 million.
Sir, that $5 million we've already established did not fall under that category because you prepared this budget in 2021. There was no talk about increment in 2021. So there's no salary increment in that budget. I'm asking you generally about the salary increment as of 2022.
No, the estimate representing the 5.5 is for 2022 estimate.
So are you saying that in 2021 you knew government was going to increase the salary?
No, the figure is not representing 2021. It's representing 2022.
When did you prepare 2022 budget? Is it not in 2021?
End of 2021, yes.
Okay. So as at end of 2021, you knew government was increasing salaries?
No, that's why I said this 5.3 needs to be investigated. I will find out why.
You're going to tell us why. As far as we're concerned, this was what was approved.
Yes.
This is what you did. And if it was such a major increase,
yes,
I would assume that you won't forget what it is. But when you remember, you can come back to us. So until then, we'll take it as it is.
Thank you.
Right. So this 30% increment on the allowances of the General Council, what was the basis?
Yeah, what I know is that I remember the CEO and the chairman went for a meeting at the ministry, and then upon their return, we had a meeting at chairman's office where we are advised that this 30% needs to be captured, needs to be paid.
So I just also want to ask, you keep talking about meetings between you and the chairman and the CEO. Do you ever meet with the General Council about these issues?
In respect to the 30%, that particular meeting...
Do you ever meet with the General Council about issues?
No.
So it's always you, the CEO, and the chairman?
This particular meeting is not only me, the CEO, and the chairman.
We're coming back to that meeting. I asked you, do you ever meet with the General Council about such issues? You said no. So when you're referring to these meetings, is it usually you, the CEO, and the chairman? When, for the General Council's representative, is it the chairman that you usually meet with?
Yes.
Okay, so now you're saying this particular meeting, it was you, the CEO, the chairman, and who?
And many councillors were present.
Many councillors?
Yes.
But not the full council?
Not the full council.
So why would you meet with many councillors? Was it a committee meeting?
Because by then they want this 30% to be paid.
No, was it a committee meeting?
No, it's like an emergency meeting was even called in respect to this.
So it was an emergency meeting without the full council?
Yes,
So which body met?
What?
This body that met, because it's not the General Council. So what body is this that met? It's not the General Council, it's not a subcommittee. Which body was this that met?
There were councillors, definitely. It's not a body, but many councillors were present in that meeting.
Who took the minutes of the meeting?
I cannot recall.
Was the clerk present?
The clerk was not there.
CEO was not taking notes?
CEO, no.
Okay, so do you recall which councillors were present?
Yes.
Tell me.
Yuba Jabara.
Yuba Jawara.
Yuba Jawara.
Okay.
Sene Kanute.
Okay.
Chairman Danjo.
Yes.
Bay Touré. Mariama Tarawale.
Yes.
Chairman Fode Danjo.
You already said Chairman.
Okay. Ibrahima Danso.
Yes.
Yes, this is the councillors that I can recall, but I know it's more than this number.
And how many people made up your council at that time?
17.
So from the establishment register, you had 20. Fode Danjo, Yuba Jawara, Usainu Mahanera, Seni Kanute, Bubakar Saho, Ibrahim Sisoho, Musa Tunkara, Alaji Sanyang, Mbai Ture, Abdurrahman Kamara, Ibrahim Danso, Alaji Kijera, Saja FK Kamate, Ibrahim Mane, Omar Gary, Alaji Kanimang Sane, Mariama Trawali, Nafa Jabai, Sana Drame, and Musa So. So that's 20.
Correct.
So were at least half of these people present?
Yes.
Half of them are present?
Of course.
More than half?
More than half, yeah.
So was it a general council? Who called up the meeting?
The chairperson.
The chairperson called up the meeting. How did he do that? Was there a notice issued?
No, but I know he communicated.
How did he communicate?
I don't know.
So then how do you know he communicated?
Yes, because I understand he was communicating, calling them for them to come for a meeting.
So at your council, you don't issue notices for meetings?
Of
You don't
course.
send emails, you don't send letters, you only call people?
No, for general council meeting, they do send notice.
So for half a council meeting, what do you do?
No, normally for council meeting, that is the responsibility of the chairman's office through his council clerk
No,
to
it's actually
communicate.
the responsibility of the clerk. But
Yes.
since you're not giving your clerk work,
Yes.
your chairman will call everybody to tell them to come for meetings.
What I know is that they do communicate.
They wrote to you.
Sometimes,
This meeting, Mr. Suso,
no,
they
no, no,
wrote to you.
no. I was just called to attend the meeting.
How were you called?
I was called from my office, but I cannot remember who called me to attend
How
the
were
meeting.
the other councillors called?
Like
or
I said
told?
earlier, I understand they were communicated through the office of the chairman.
So why was it only half of the councillors that were present?
I don't know why others did not come.
Okay, so when they called you, did they tell you what the purpose of the meeting was?
Yeah, it's to discuss about the increment of the 30%.
When they were telling you to come for the meeting, did you know in advance what the meeting would be about?
Yes, I know.
Okay, and the other councillors knew?
I believe.
Okay, so at this meeting, you discussed, tell us what you discussed.
Yeah, we discussed, and then I can remember that at the level of management, we said there should be an official document that needs to be provided so that we can able to pay this amount. But later on, we have been convinced by them, yes, it has to be paid because it has been discussed at the ministry.
Because these are what?
It has been discussed at the ministry that the amount, the 30% increment should be paid, and it should be captured in the budget.
Should be paid to the councillors.
Councillors and staffs.
Is this what was communicated at the ministry?
I did not see any communication from the ministry.
So did you increase the allowances by 30%?
Yes,
On what basis?
on the basis of our meeting has per agreed.
And at the meeting, this was agreed, and was a resolution passed?
No, it was agreed during the meeting and it was implemented.
So is it that you just implement whatever some members of the council say?
For this particular one, that's what happened.
But you're familiar with the Finance and Audit Act,
Yeah, I understand.
and you're familiar with the Local Government Act.
Yes, but for this particular one, that's how it happened.
Yes. So did you advise them that the increment does not apply to them?
Yes, during the meeting.
You advised them that the increment did not apply to them?
Yes, it was discussed, but I could not convince them.
So when you could not convince them, did you write to the Ministry of Lands to tell them that you have a problem with your council?
I did not write.
Why is that?
Yeah, because as far as my boss is part of the meeting, and then we all advised that there should be a letter, and then they decided finally that let us try to pay the amount. Then we agreed as the signatory account, myself and CEO, and then we go by it.
You're in charge of the finances of the council. Part of your duties is to make sure that there are no fraudulent activities, there are no excess expenditure that were not necessary, etc. Is that all right?
That's correct.
Did you have an internal auditor as at that time? 2022.
Yes,
Was she at the meeting?
I cannot recall.
Was she informed about this increment?
I don't know.
Is it not part of your duty to ensure that she knows?
Yes, but equally he's under the office of the chairperson, the chairman.
She's under the office of the chairman.
Yes.
Is she in your unit?
No, audit is independent, answerable to the
Okay.
chairman's office.
So, when you're preparing the salary pay slips, the allowance pay slips, do they pass the payment voucher for those slips? Do they pass through internal audit?
Sometimes, but sometimes they do not, because the internal auditor is not regular at work. And then there are times
Did you query her non-attendance at work?
Well, there was even a memo in respect to that.
There was a memo by whom?
Yes. And I could fully remember that.
Who prepared the memo?
The office of the CEO.
And what happened after that? What was the memo saying and what happened after that?
That staff should be punctual to work.
Was it directed at her?
No.
So did you, nobody queried her?
Yes.
Okay, so when do you prepare the payment voucher for the salaries?
From the 15th to the 26th.
So are you saying that from the 15th to the 26th she will not be around?
Sometimes she'll be around, but
between the 15th and the 26th, she would be around at least half of those days, no?
yeah.
Okay, so why did this payment voucher pass through her?
No.
Why is that?
The internal auditor make it very clear that she did not have the capacity to do the audit of council payments. So there are instances.
Did you fire her?
No, I cannot fire her. That's not my responsibility.
Did you recommend that she be fired? Did you point out to the council how important it is for you to have an internal auditor that can do the job so that there are checks and balances?
Exactly, we did that.
No, did you? You?
Personally, I did not, but during the preparation of our budget, we make it as a priority to, for Local Government Service Commission to recruit a senior internal auditor for council for transparency and accounting purposes.
Now, you see how important it was to the council and to you to get your 10,000 a month for IFMIS payment.
Very well.
Did you put in the same effort to get an internal auditor that could do the job?
Yes, this is why it is captured in the budget.
No, did you?
Yes, because there was a
How?
time.
Did you go to the general council with management like you did for the 10,000?
Yeah, of course.
You went to general council about the internal auditor?
Yes.
When?
That's why it is captured in the budget.
Mr. Suso, when did you go to the general council so that they can do something about the internal audit issue?
No.
You did not?
No.
But 10,000 is very important, so you could go to the general council for that.
That happened.
All right. So these pay slips did not go through the internal auditor, and that is because the internal auditor would flag them, because you do not have a right to increase the allowances of your general counsel, and you knew you didn't have the right to increase their allowances.
The allowances is not a secret in the council. The internal auditor is fully aware that we are receiving these payments.
Did you pass the voucher through her?
I said
no. So she can't indicate anything on that voucher. No. Is it not the vouchers that she has to make indications on? She has to clear the vouchers, right?
No, but he knew that
she has to clear the vouchers?
Yes.
So if the vouchers don't come to her, what is she clearing?
Well, the other hand, whereas the vouchers are not going through her, but she knew very well that this is happening.
And you knew that it was wrong. Did you do anything about it?
I will not say it is wrong.
It is not wrong?
Because what I understand about this allowance is the payment is like to motivate the finance staffs for using the IFMIS system.
I'm not talking about your 10,000. We've already dealt with that.
Yes.
I'm talking about the increase, the 30% increase to the allowances of your general counsel, of your councillors.
Yes. Yes.
You knew it wasn't right.
Yes.
And you did it anyway. And you did not go back to the Ministry of Lands to say, my council is increasing their allowances by 30%. Our budget cannot handle it. I know it is not right. Can you do something about it?
No, I did not do that.
All right. So you paid them 30% more. Since when?
I think this was in 2022, around September and October.
Sorry. Mr. Siso, I assume that you are clear about the the role of the internal auditor as per your regulations. Can you refer to the provision?
Which one are you having? Which provision are you having?
The financial and accounting manual for local government authorities.
Page?
14.
Yes.
Yes, what did it say? 200, 208.
The duties and functions of the internal auditor.
Yes, can you please speak into the mic?
The duties and functions of the internal auditor.
Are you reading 208 or 209?
209.
208.
208, okay.
Yes.
The internal audit department.
Yes.
The internal audit department is headed of the internal audit department.
The internal auditor.
The internal auditor is headed of the internal audit department.
It's not headed.
Head of the internal audit department.
Can I read? Let me read it for you.
The internal auditor.
Wait, hold on. Section 208.
Yes.
With the heading in the internal audit department. It says the internal auditor is head of the internal audit department. He shall be responsible to ensure that the procedures stipulated in this manual with respect to all transactions involving revenue collection and expenditure and receipt and issue of stores are properly authorized, promptly carried out, and punctually recorded, and to make a continuous and thorough check on council's financial transaction. Did your audit live up to this as provided for in your manual?
Yes, it is provided for in the manual.
Yes, but did the auditor that you have in your council live up to this?
I'm not even sure whether she knows what is dictated in this financial.
When my question is, the reason why I ask you this is, when did you realize that your internal auditor has capacity or does not have capacity?
This was since 2021.
In 2021,
yes.
You were aware
yes.
that she does not have capacity.
Yes.
And what did you do to remedy that situation? Being solely responsible of verifying your transactions, both expenditure and income that you collect.
Yeah. This is one of because of his incompetency.
We are going to hang on for 1 minute, 2 minutes for them to switch over from NAWEC to probably General. Take a leave and rise, so they will sort out the electricity issue and we'll come back after prayers.